Hello, everyone. Welcome into the Mountaineer Postgame Show. I'm Callihan. That's West Virginia legendary running back Eugene Napoleon. It's the final game of the season, and maybe a sigh of relief for some Mountaineer fans as this season is coming to a close. At least the regular season is 52-15. The final score out in Lubbock, West Virginia, dropping to Texas Tech. They dropped to 6-6 on the season. Gene, typically what we do on these post-game shows, we start looking into the numbers, and I think that's just a waste of my breath. So let's just go ahead and talk about the real situation, the elephant in the room in Neal Brown. We've talked about it seemingly off and on over the last handful of years, but I feel like this is the one thing that he could not afford to have happen was to get blown out in the final game of the season, and it's exactly what happened. 52-15, not competitive at all. Let's just go and open up this can of worms.
Well, I'm gonna say this to you. First off, you've heard me say this before. You can't tell me that Texas Tech is 37 points better than West Virginia. I'm sorry. You can't tell me that, right?
No.
That's one. Two, when you look at the roster, Texas Tech in their own of Texas, they're not getting the best talent. Let's be clear. Blue chip, and I don't like stars, but 5-star, 4-star, 3. They're not getting those kids. But you know what they are getting? They're getting kids that they can coach, and they're getting the very best out of each position that they are coaching, which means their talent a lot better, obviously, than what most people are. And when you can beat somebody and hang half 100 on them, that means you really know what you're doing as far as coaching, because it's not like we have a very similar roster of talent, is what I'm saying to you. So how is it they can hang half 100 and we can't seem to get out of our own way? And here's the funny thing. It didn't look like we were prepared to play this game, number one, but more importantly, check this out. Texas Tech has been giving up 30 to 35 points a game.
They gave up half of that today, Gene.
Yeah. What was the final score? Okay.
52-15.
Okay. So it tells me a lot of things about what's not going right or what's not going in the right direction for West Virginia compared to what is going right and in the right direction for some of these other programs with similar roster talent.
Yeah.
We're comparing apples to apples here, Schuyler, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing that I thought West Virginia had to do to win this game was to hold on to the football, play clock control, and they, in some ways, they did that. Mainly just because Texas Tech was scoring so fast. So that's part of the issue. But offensively, I don't know what the game plan was coming into this game, because Texas Tech was the worst pass ranked defense in the Big 12. And yet you didn't take shots against them. You didn't challenge them vertically. Instead, you try to screen them to death. You try to live in the flats. That's not going to work. Like, even the worst pass defense, you're helping them out by saying, here, we're going to throw a quick little out route, and all you got to do is just use the sideline as an extra defender. Challenge that defense. It's been vulnerable all season long. I know Garrett's had his struggles with throwing the football over the middle of the field or down the field or whatever, but you have to at least try to get back into the game. Going with those passes in the flats, it's not going to do it. The jet sweeps. I mean, Gene, how many times are we going to talk about a Rodney Gallagher jet sweep going nowhere on 3rd down in 5? Like, I mean, where is that play going? That has not hit at all one time this season. But we could talk about the offensive play calling. We could talk about the atrocious defense. But that's what we talked about earlier already this year. When you made the move to fire Jordan Leslie, it then kind of put the pressure not on Jeff Kuntz, but on Neal Brown, because now there's no one to point the blame to. It all falls back on the head coach. The one thing I took away from this game, outside of everything being atrociously bad, I don't know if anyone's really talking about this much, but on the 2-point conversion, you're down 42-9.
Yeah.
You're down 42-9, and you're throwing a ball to your All-American left tackle who's projected to be a first-round draft pick. Why? I don't care that you're trying to go for 2. That's whatever. You got to find ways to get points. But to throw the ball to him Like I don't understand what you're doing. You're playing with fire there. If something bad happens on that play and he tears an ACL or something, you just ruined that kid's draft stock. What was
Yeah,
that for? That is not smart football.
no. Well, again, I think it comes down to what I was mentioning a little earlier about knowing what you have and knowing how you have to develop what you have to get the most out of your roster. If that's the best play you can come up with for a 2 point conversion, okay. Yeah.
Again,
Let,
you're asking for something bad to happen to him on that play.
you
Like,
no, you're absolutely yeah. But I think did you see the Georgia Tech game last night? The 8 overtime game, right? With two
mhm.
point. Okay. Did you see how deep both sides reached into their bag?
Yeah,
Okay, to come up with these. So my point is, when I coached, I used to train my team. We're going to train for 3 overtimes. That was just the mentality, right? 4 quarters plus 3 overtimes. So we were always in shape to play that extended part of the game. These are things that you almost have to have in your back pocket as just in case. When you call a play like that, it tells me that who are you fooling? Like who do you really think? I'm not sure. Like you said, Schuyler, I'm not sure what the offensive game plan was coming into this game. I'm not sure if they got away from it because Texas Tech jumped on us kind of early. I'm just not sure, but I do know this. It looked like the players wasn't enthused to play. It looked like they wasn't ready to play. It looked, and I could be wrong about all this. I'm just saying what it looked like to me. It looked like from top to bottom, our team just is done. It just looked like they're just done with him. And if that's the case, if you lost the locker room, I don't know how you come back from this. I don't know how you come back from a 6-6 season where we should have been at best 9-3, at worst 8-4. Yeah,
yeah.
honestly.
I mean,
It's,
everything is just going against West Virginia right now in terms of, the momentum that you're trying to build. Not only the win's not there, but now you're losing commits. You're losing
yeah,
commit to Georgia Tech. You lost a commit to Michigan State. You're probably going to lose another commit to another ACC school, and maybe even one more to a Big Ten school. So, and there's a lot of these pieces that are falling away from you in your class, and these are top pieces in your 2025 signing class. And you're replacing them with a guy that flipped from Toledo and a guy that flipped from Ohio.
listen.
Now, I don't know if you remember this, Gene, but you remember that a couple of years ago, maybe it was even last year, there was an anonymous Big 12 coach that said that's a MAC roster that West Virginia has. Well, there you go.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, and this is why to the fans out here who listen to our show, and thank you very much for tuning in. This is why I don't like getting into the players because there's a very thin line when you start getting into kids and their parents may feel a certain way when you start talking about okay, my kid was going here and he gets an opportunity to come to West Virginia and he was recruited as a MAC kid because you are who recruits you.
Yeah,
Let's be clear.
good point.
It, thank you. If you didn't get an offer from WVU initially or a Power Four school, there might be a reason as to why. Now, because we lost commits and you get a chance to flip and you flip up versus flipping to another MAC program or a smaller program, I get it. Who's not going to take that opportunity?
Right. That's
But the
more on the
problem,
coaching staff, not getting an
thank
equal
you.
flip.
Thank you. I'm never going to come down on a kid for taking an opportunity to jump up.
Right.
That doesn't make logical sense. You get a chance to jump up, you're going to jump up. Now, whether you belong up there or not is a totally different question.
Yeah.
You know what my father used to say, Scholar, real quick? If somebody is dumb enough to give it, be smart enough to take it.
Yeah.
Okay? As
Absolutely.
long okay. So we're giving an opportunity to quote unquote Mac players or whatever the case may be. They're smart enough to take it and hopefully Hopefully they will come to West Virginia, and hopefully they will experience, because I'm all about that. Brown is there, or if he's not there, whoever walks through that locker room, I want them to have the best opportunity, and I want them to be developed. That's my gripe right now. I don't see where our players are being developed, and you're starting to see it when you play teams like Texas Tech and they hang 52 points on you. That makes no sense to me.
Last thing before we get out of here, and we've talked about this a couple of times too recently. West Virginia, before Neal Brown took over the head coaching job, the program was the 14th winningest program in all of college football. We're talking 130 plus schools. West Virginia was a top 15 program. They're not that now. They are, I believe,
No.
16th in all time wins. And when you're sitting here stumbling to get to bowl games in year 6, I don't know how much more time you need. I don't know how much more leash you need. I know financials, that's the number one thing that everyone talks about, the buyout, the buyout, the buyout. I don't know if WVU has the money to do it. If the only people that do is Ren Baker, Gordon Gee, and the other decision makers in the administration.
Right.
If you had to make a prediction, what do you see in your crystal ball in terms of who's going to be filling that head coaching seat in 2025? Is it going to be Neal Brown, or is it going to be the field?
I don't think it'd be Neal Brown.
Really?
I don't think it could be Neal Brown. And real quick, I know we got to get at it. The only reason I say that, if you're looking at a sample size of where we are right now as a program, you cannot handicap your program for moving forward to be prosperous because there's a dollar amount involved.
You could lose more money by not making a move.
That's the key. In most cases, you're going to negotiate your buyout anyway. And if he's who I think he is as a man of character, he understands that West Virginia is financially strapped. I'm hoping he would negotiate something that makes sense on the way out, and you can pay him not in one lump sum, if that's the case. But I do not think, for the betterment of this program and the future of this program, if Neal Brown is the head coach in 2025, there's going to be more of the same as what we saw over the last 6 years. And I think that would be a detriment to West Virginia, the tradition of this program moving forward. I could be wrong. I have a bald head. It's not a crystal ball. I could be wrong, Schuyler. But I after seeing what I just saw, I don't think that that's going to be feasible.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know how you can rally a fan base for 8 to 9 months to say this is who you're going to be supporting and backing for a 7th year. I just don't know how you're going to do it. But we'll see. We'll see if Ren Baker makes a statement at some point today or tomorrow or the next few days. Signing day's coming up here in a few days too, so that's a key date. I think it's December 4th. So things are going to be moving quickly here. You got the transfer portal moving open as well. Bowl game will be announced next Sunday, regardless of whether or not Neal is still the head coach. They will still be playing in a bowl game, so we got one more left, which means we will have one more game day show to preview, and then we'll also have one more post-game show on the football side. Meanwhile, we'll keep pumping out some between the ears episodes and some post-game shows for the basketball side of things too. So as always, make sure you hit the subscribe button here on our YouTube page at West Virginia on SI. Follow us on X at SI_WVU. Thank you guys for watching all season long. For Eugene, Napoleon, I'm Schuyler Callihan. We'll see you back here tomorrow on Between the Ears.